These are the answers to the case story I presented in the last video, where a patient who initially contracted what seemed to be traveler's diarrhea ended up with multiple debilitating medical mysteries. One law of nature is that all living things produce heat. The more metabolic activity that microbiota have, the more nitric oxide and thus heat they will produce. This patient had been understandably quite cold since her initial rounds of antibiotic therapy. Whatever had triggered her diarrhea in the first place, probably a transient virus disrupting her normal flora and their protective capacity for nutrient absorption and mental health, was a colossal mistake. Without adequate nitric oxide production, she was unable to absorb nutrition from her food, and her brain chemistry became deranged. As confirmed by her paste-like thick tongue coating, her body had been infiltrated by overgrowth of opportunistic yeast and mold. Additionally, the patient's tongue was pale and purple, which confirmed my suspicions of metabolic deficiencies, and was scalloped from extra fluid retention, pushing it against the inside of her teeth. Fungal overgrowth had disrupted her aquaporins and to terraform her body into a swamp-like mess, and was probably behind her mental health status going off the rails. Because she lacked the bacteria to break down complex vegetable fibers, she relied on simple starches, which only fed the overgrowth of yeast. We needed to warm her up, drain the swamp, and help her healthy gut microbiota make a valiant return.
Valiant cousin!
While she was fatigued and anemic from years of malabsorption, I knew that giving her vitamins or tonic herbs like ginseng or astragalus would be a mistake, as these can promote biofilm formation at the doses necessary to build back up a patient's strength and feed the yeast species which had opportunistically grown out of control following her use of antibiotics. We needed to use a different strategy. We needed to warm her microbiome to reduce biofilm-forming yeast and pathogenic bacteria, dissolve excessive biofilms already in place, and inhibit the replication of harmful viruses that might still be lingering there waiting to strike. A combination of botanicals to fumigate the microbiome and aromatically awaken her mind, and abdominal self-massage was our first move. Within 2 weeks, her nausea had reduced by 90%, her stools were still soft but were only happening twice per day, and most importantly, she no longer felt like her brain was possessed by a demon from the upside down.
The cult of Vecna?
She was able to eat vegetables and quickly reintegrated them into her diet to feed healthy lactobacillus and bifidobacter species. Her herbal formula was slowly updated to keep pace with the changing landscape over her body, and over the next 6 weeks she regained so much vitality that she was able to go back to work in the Foreign Service. We've loosely kept in touch, and since then simply drinking ginger tea and regular tummy rubs have kept her in excellent shape. Scientists estimate that there are over 5 million species of fungus on planet Earth, but have identified only about 1% of them. This patient is an excellent example of how, given the right environment and opportunity, they can take over our bodies and our mind. Stay safe, my friends, and cultivate your microbiome.